Joining me on the telecast is Vivek Srivatsa. He is the head of marketing and sales and service strategy for Tata Passenger Electric Mobility Limited, which is the leading electric vehicle manufacturer in the country. It's good to have you, Mr. Srivatsa, on the telecast with us. And my first question to you, what do you think is the trend in the demand for the electric cars that you have noticed in the past years?
Yeah, obviously, thank you for the question. Electric cars are probably the fastest growing segment in the space. If you look at it as individual segment, it has grown faster than any other category in the country. I can give percentages, but percentages don't make sense when there are 3 times, 4 times, 5 times growth. But to give you a perspective, between FY21 and this year, there's been more than 6 times growth. That is almost close to 600% of growth. The first 10,000 units of the industry took about 44 months to achieve, and the last 50,000 actually was achieved in this 9 months. So 4.5 years for 10,000 sales, and now 50,000 achieved in 9 months for Tata Motors is a rapid growth. And since Tata Motors is the market leader, the same kind of growth is being experienced by the EV as a category itself. So lots to be optimistic about in terms of the growth of EVs, and we believe we are still just scratching the surface, and there's a lot more growth of the category to come in the years ahead.
All right, now how many electric cars have roughly been sold in Delhi already?
So we've, in the month of September, we celebrated 100,000, that is 1 lakh electric cars sold by Tata Motors. And by now it will be close to 115,000, 1,15,000 electric cars on the road from Tata Motors.
Mr. Srivatsa, now what do you think are the major reasons for people in Delhi to switch to electric cars?
The first major reason for the majority of people has been the low cost of ownership. Running an electric car is probably 1/8 the cost of running a nice engine car, either it's petrol or diesel. So it gives a great economy of operation. But that is only the first step. Electric cars offer a very, very advanced driving experience. They are silent, they have great power, they have a lot of software-oriented features. So it is actually what we define as a digitized driving experience against a very mechanical drive experience of a traditional internal combustion engine car. Right. And the minute people start experiencing that level of digitized drive, it is impossible to go back to traditional cars. So it is an all-in-one package, I would say. Great power, high level of technology, absolute silence in terms of driving, low cost of ownership, much lower product issues as well, because you would have much lower components in the car, much faster serviceability. You don't have traditional engines. Most of it is software. So getting your car serviced is going to be much easier and quicker. So there are a variety of benefits which customers are discovering, and that is one of the reasons why the segment is growing so fast.
Now, are all electric cars only good for travel within the cities on a daily basis, or can we also look at long distance travel as well?
So for daily travel within the city is absolutely perfect, I would say. In fact, it is even easily better than any other option, because one is economy, but just the ease of driving. All electric cars are inherently automatic transmission, and because of the kind of silence and power they offer, they become very easy to drive in cities. But with the charging infrastructure growing, many customers are taking the electric cars on highways and between cities as well. Today we see most of our cars delivering well in excess of 300 kilometers range on a single charge. So it becomes quite possible to drive anything up to 300 kilometers in a single charge on highways. With charging infrastructure increasing, every day new chargers are coming up. If the planning is done well, EV can easily be used even for longer distances. We have many examples of people driving across the country, doing all in pan-India journeys on EVs. There are certain hotspots. For example, Mumbai, Pune. You have Delhi, Jaipur, or Delhi, Agra. You have a lot of the cities in Gujarat which are within 200 kilometers. In South, you have hubs like Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Bangalore to Chennai. All these are high traffic routes in which EVs are getting extremely popular because there are many people who travel between these pairs of cities for business and work purposes. And even the charging infrastructure is very well developed there. So customers experience economical and extremely comfortable drive between these cities. So while EVs are the best option, I would say, for drive within the city, more and more every day, more EVs are being driven on highways and different interior parts of the country. One of the points I'd like to highlight is that all our EVs are equipped with, are connected cars. So we know exactly how they are driven and where they go. And the data we have shows that when you superimpose the data we have on the India map, we see a very, very wide presence of EVs across the country, on the roads across the country. So what I'm saying is backed by genuine data in terms of how much EVs are traveled on the highways.
Now, how easy is it to install the charging infrastructure at home once you are able to purchase an electric car?
It is extremely easy because Tata Motors fortunately comes from the Tata Group, and we have Tata Universe created, which is a group of Tata companies which work together to provide solutions for customers. Tata Power, we all know, is one of the biggest power generation company in the country, and Tata Motors and Tata Power have got together to install chargers at customers' locations free of charge. Each and every car that we sell comes with a charger, and the minute the customer confirms purchase of the car, the charging teams gets into action and goes and fits the charger in customers' homes even before the car is delivered, so that from the first day onwards, the customer has a charging solution at home. We've put, like I said, we've sold more than 115,000 cars. Some of them are free, but we are very close to 100,000 personal cars delivered across the country, and each of them have been delivered with a home charging solution. So it is very tried and tested, and many customers across the country are using the home chargers in a very easy and effective manner.
What do you think are the major challenges before the electric vehicle manufacturing companies today?
See, the challenge is it's a new technology. While more than 100,000 cars have been sold by us, and maybe the industry itself is about 150,000 or 140,000, I would say, it's still a small proportion compared to the overall car buying population. Since it's a new technology, customers are in a wait and watch situation. They want to see if they can trust the technology is going to develop further. So that is the main challenge. When we speak to our customers, they know that ultimately, sooner or later, they have to shift to electric. One of the points that we make is that customers know that it is no longer if they want to shift to electric, it is about when. That when is the question. Customers are a little bit on a wait and watch mode. I think with the kind of initiatives companies are taking, and also government in terms of charging infrastructure, and in certain states, government have been offering subsidies. This is only going to accelerate and build more confidence. The key, I would say, is to build better charging infrastructure so that customers are confident that they can take the car anywhere and they find a charger. Digitization of the ownership is very important. All EVs come with a app now and finding a nearby charging station, taking charging bookings in advance, knowing if the charger is occupied or free. These kind of solutions are going to make the ownership experience much easier, and this is what will accelerate for the growth of EV adoption.
Is Tata Motors also working towards development of electric vehicle charging infrastructure in Delhi? And what do you think needs to be done rapidly in this regard?
Yeah, so we are working, like I said, we have a lot of customer insights because of our connected cars. We know exactly the driving behavior and charging behavior of our customers. We know which are the routes which are heavily frequented. We know how many times a day, how many times a week uh, customers charge their car. So these insights are shared with Tata Power, and we give them exactly details on which are the routes in which fast charging solutions have to be implemented. We are also working on society charging. While I spoke about home charging solutions, sometimes if there are 50 EVs in a society, it doesn't make sense to put 50 chargers. It is a overkill, I would say. Maybe 10 public chargers in the society might be good enough. So that is something we are working on with large societies where we don't need to have a charger in every parking lot, but we making a common way of chargers so that it is more efficient and easy to use. Most of the time, otherwise, the charger is lying unused if it's in every parking lot. Whereas if you make common chargers in a society, the usage of chargers are much better. So these are some initiatives that we are taking.
Okay.
Your second question is about how to improve infrastructure. It is about a combination of government initiatives. I think government has to really push for charging infrastructure development. Having said that, a lot of private entrepreneurs, startups are getting into the charging space. Public sector, the oil companies, Bharat Petroleum, Indian Oil, Hindustan Petroleum are firmly getting into charging infrastructure because they already have fuel pumps on the highways. It's just about adding, and they have space already. They have power supply as well. It is only about fixing the charging infrastructure in their fuel pumps, and is going to provide them additional revenue for the future. So I think a combination of government push added to that, the startup infrastructure and PSU and the oil company interest in charging infrastructure is going to change the game in the coming few years.
Right. What do you think? How can the governments, both at the central level as well as the state level, encourage businesses to manufacture more and more electric vehicles?
I think manufacturing EVs first is to build a strong domestic demand. As long as there is good domestic demand, manufacturing locally will automatically be sustainable and make good business. So as governments build a lot of domestic demand, manufacturers will be encouraged to localize their manufacturing. So end of the day, a sustainable solution to local manufacturing is to create enough of local demand. And if there's enough of local demand, organizations and manufacturers will put in plants, and excess production capacity can be further exported out of the country, bringing in much needed foreign reserve. But the key is to develop a strong domestic demand, which can keep the factories running locally.
Mr. Srivatsa, now, how do you think the electric vehicle industry will add value to India's economy in the years to come?
Oh, huge, actually, in many, many different ways. Firstly, the more we convert to EV, the import subsidy for importing fuel will come down. We are fairly getting strong in terms of power generation. In fact, as years go by, our power generation will become more and more green, meaning that we'll use idle electricity, we'll use wind or nuclear to develop our electric power, which are non-polluting sources. and we are fairly, I would say adequate in terms of power generation. So the more cars become electrified, the less fuel we need to import from other countries, which is a big drain on the exchequer currently, because fuel is subsidized, like all of us know. Second is pollution. Pollution has a very wide impact. To begin with, it is on public health, and due to pollution, there are other costs involved in various sectors in manufacturing. Companies are having to invest a lot of money in removing pollutants from water, removing pollutants from the air, so that their products are clean. A large, significantly big part of GDP is being lost due to the air pollution in the country. We also know that some of our large, almost 6 to 7 of our cities are in the top 10 of the world's largest, most polluted cities. And like I said earlier, huge impact on public health as well. So directly in terms of reducing the import subsidy, indirect impact on GDP, and tertiary improvement of public health due to reduction of pollution. These are the top line, I would say, benefits of electrification. But there are many more also actually. Electric cars are much quieter. The noise levels in the city will come down.
Yes.
Electric cars are software on wheels. There will be a lot of software-oriented features. They are much easier to maintain. The service cycles are much lower. So the number of times the cars have to go to the service center and come back comes down. When you add all this up, the kind of benefits to the customer and to the country is very, very high.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vivek Srivatsa, the head of Marketing, Sales and Service Strategy, Tata Passenger Electric Mobility Limited, joining us on the telecast, sharing your views, giving us a lowdown on how the future of electric vehicles looks like.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.